So if you're planning for the weekend, then I think this video is going to be quite helpful, because what I'm going to do is pace you through all of the big aspects that are happening on that day to give you a real heads up, to know, I guess, what to expect. Now, we've got 5 moon things happening on that day. We've got the moon in a trine to Mercury, in a trine to the sun. Beautiful aspects, easy going aspects. The moon's going to make a sextile to the north node and then move into Capricorn before being trine Chiron. Now, as you can see, trine, sextile, trine. This is all talking about ease. And, you know, who doesn't love a little bit of ease during your day and the weekend when you're meant to be relaxing? I love that idea. But we've also got a main aspect, and that is the sun in the opposition to the north node. And this is, I would say, the undertone to this whole weekend. You might already be feeling it coming in. It will have been coming in for the last 7 days. But on Saturday, the 22nd is exactly in that opposition. So I want to talk you through that before talking specifically about the moon, because this is something that we're really feeling coming into Saturday. If you're listening to this on Friday or even late on Thursday, you'll be really feeling into this already, I'm sure. And it gets easier when we add in the moon. So the sun is about our vitality and our expression, our identity, how we feel kind of ready to fully inhabit ourselves, you know, to really know who we are. And there's something very much about the sun. I think it really represents our roles. It describes the kind of person and identity that we like to have. And in that, I think, you know, the sun, when it's in great aspects to things in your birth chart, it really describes some of the positive characteristics of you as a person and the kinds of roles that you take on. Now, in the north node opposition, things get a little unclear, and it starts to feel a bit pressured. If you've listened to my north node playlist or the recent north node releases about the north node going into Aquarius, you'll know that the north node is very much about the challenges that we've got coming up and the new direction that we're being moved into. It's really showing us the inevitable direction of our striving. So in this chart then, because the north node is in opposition to the sun, that means the sun is in a conjunction with the south node. Now, we have to understand the south node a little bit. The south node shows us what we already know, like the back of our hand, where we've already got a sense of who we are, what we're good at. We've got lots of experience behind us, and it feels familiar. It feels safe, and it feels, well, it feels good. Eventually, we start to, when we're really connected to the south node, we get a sense that maybe we've already done it and that there's no real growth going on in the direction of the south node. So it's interesting. We've got the sun in the last degree in the sign of Leo, meaning the sun has got like one more day to really shine in that Leo way, to be dominant, to be central, to feel like it is time to shine and take up space. And at the same time, it's connected to this feeling of, maybe I've already done this. Maybe I really know this. I'm not being challenged anymore. I'm not really being new or fresh anymore. And so this particular opposition, I think, is reminding us that maybe the identity that we've built for ourselves is a little tired now, and that there's this sense of a new identity coming in, that there's this sense that something new and fresh is on the horizon, something that we don't necessarily have the skills for, but life is throwing us in a new direction, and it's encouraging us, inviting us to step into a new role, step into a new world, and to experience a new part of us. And maybe you've got the sun in opposition to the north node and your sun in a conjunction to the south node. Who knows? I've got a real life example that I'd like to share. And it's kind of ironic, actually, because this person actually has had 2 very distinct identities before marriage and after marriage. And this person would be Kate Middleton, who's also known as Catherine Middleton, or Princess of Wales in the UK. Most people will know who she is. And so she married our Prince William. And it's interesting because her son was in the sign of Capricorn and in a conjunction to the south node, suggesting that she has this known personality, this ease in knowing herself. And at some point, she's encouraged or invited or needs to lose what she knows. So it's not suggesting that it's lost, but that there is a progression in her personality, or that she's meant to come out of her relative safety and into a completely new role. And you don't really get a new identity such as a royal title. I mean, that's pretty extreme. So I guess what I'm asking you, and unless you're about to get married to a royal or something, I'm imagining that this isn't in your birth chart, this is in all of our charts at the moment. This is what the sky is telling us. The sky is telling us that there is a role that we are shedding at the moment, that there's a role where we've done it and dusted it. We understand it so well, we're doing it blindfold, and it's a bit too comfortable, and it's not bringing us growth. So on Saturday, there's this underlying energy of, are you ready for the next challenge? Are you ready to go deeper? Are you ready to learn more about yourself? And that might involve some new training, a new perspective. Are you ready for the next new push? And also, what are you going to do with it? What is coming next for you? And maybe you need to decide that. But the energy, the sky energy, is saying it's, if you rest where you are, you're just going to stay comfortable. You're going to stay in the same place. And it appears that life is moving on. Life is moving in a new direction. So don't worry if you don't heed the call and make changes right now, because again, this is the sky's energy, not your personal energy. However, we will get another push of this next year. We get this yearly push, and it's just a little cosmic push to help us move on to the next part of our journey. Now, I like that as an underpinning. And in fact, the people I've been speaking to in the last few days are really all in a new phase. I am myself as well. So let's also tie in the moon aspects at the same time. So we start off the day and the moon's in Sagittarius. And I think that's a really nice sign to have for the best part of the weekend. The moon in Sagittarius is light, it's bubbly, it's insanely curious about things, and it wants to chat, it wants to connect. And so I really see that we experience that first thing on Saturday morning, as the moon goes into an exact trine with Mercury, that's going to open up our desire to chat and to feel comfortable with people, to reveal things. The trine between Leo and Sagittarius is very warm, very outward, very positive, and quite entertaining. And then the moon goes into an exact trine with the sun. That's warming us up, and I think encouraging us that maybe there is something new for us. The moon in Sagittarius is very curious. So a good question to ask yourself on Saturday morning is, what else is possible? Now, I say that it tripped off my tongue like it's my question. It's one of the questions that Access Consciousness uses a lot. I really appreciate their questions. So like, what else is possible would be a great question to ask yourself. And then later on, you'll notice that the moon then is in a sextile with the North Node. So it's like asking, what else is possible? What else is possible with my role? And what else is possible with my direction? And how can that work in the world and the way that the world is changing? So it's like a reorientation. And then the moon's going to head into Capricorn, and it's also then going to be making a trine with Chiron in Taurus. Now, this is really lovely. The moon in a trine with Chiron, both of them are in earth signs, which I think is hugely practical, hugely grounded. And it's really emphasizing nature, really emphasizing easy, practical, natural interventions. It might be to become the person that you've not yet become, you need to take practical, natural, healthy actions. And so, yeah, they're the main aspects that I'm seeing for Saturday, the main feelings. So I think, from start to finish with this week ahead, I think we're really leaving this week on a sense of possibility, on a sense that your role is changing right now. We are all in this change together, and that there's some action required. And the action is very much based around maybe physical healing and embracing what works for us. I do want to just put in a last thought. I recognized on Friday I was talking about the Venus and Saturn opposition. By the time we get round to Saturday, Venus is already starting ever so slowly to come out of that opposition. And so I guess we can say there's a separation of that's already peaked and now it's easing off. So as we're encouraged to feel kindly about ourselves, there's also this sense of a newness, a freshness approaching. So I hope that's helpful for you. Have a great day, and I'll be back soon to tell you a little bit more about next week. Anyway, have a great one and catch up with you all soon. Bye for now.